Alright, so moving on to the second segment, I will be talking about my Dallas Cowboys once again, but at the quarterback position. So is there a quarterback controversy between Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott? So it's a developing story here because, like I said in the first segment, I said when the Dallas Cowboys lost that game, that Sunday night game, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, lost that game 19-3. Dak Prescott goes down with that thumb injury late in the fourth quarter of that game, and they announced the injury. I said we are down, but we are not out. And there was a lot of guys, a lot of analysts talking in the National Football League saying that the Dallas Cowboys should trade for a backup quarterback, see what they could get, maybe a Tyler Huntley, maybe a Jimmy Garoppolo. And I said there's no point. You might as well ride out the storm with Cooper Rush, somebody that's been in the offense for the last 5 to 6 years, or been a part of the Dallas Cowboys for the last 5 to 6 years, undrafted free agent, and he's been with the roster for the last 5 to 6 years, and got his start last year in that Sunday night game on Halloween against the Minnesota Vikings. Threw for over 300 yards and had a game-winning drive out there against a pretty good Minnesota team last year on Sunday night. Fast forward, and we're having a quarterback controversy right now of what the team should do once Dak Prescott comes back, if Cooper Rush can keep rolling and bring in a good amount of wins for this organization. So, in my opinion, there should be no quarterback controversy. Dak Prescott is the quarterback one of the America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not going to take anything away from Cooper Rush. Like I just said, he was an undrafted guy coming out of college. He's been a part of the Dallas Cowboys for the last 5 to 6 years. Been in the league for a long time as well. You can actually look back and look at the time where the Dallas Cowboys cut him in 2020. He went to the New York Giants, was a part of their practice squad when Jason Garrett was there as the offensive coordinator. They cut him and they came back to the Dallas Cowboys. But he does deserve a lot of credit for a guy that has not been given a fair chance since he came in the league. He's 3-0 as a starter this year, 4-0 overall, dating back to that Sunday night game I just discussed last year. However, he's not doing it alone, and he's hardly setting the world on fire as the quarterback one of the Dallas Cowboys. He's bringing in the wins, but let's talk about what he's really doing on the field. Offense this year, throughout the first 4 weeks, I'm gonna say the first 3 games that he started in, the offense has not hit 3 points this season. Cooper Rush is averaging, he has 737 passing yards, and that's ranked 28th amongst quarterbacks passing in the National Football League this year. Defense has truly bailed him out so far, playing in a conservative role. He reminds me a lot of a Jimmy Garoppolo out there. Just does enough just to say he's getting the credit for getting the wins, but his team, his supporting cast is doing the rest. And that's what Cooper Rush is truly doing, because the defense has bailed him out so far this season. I just discussed in the last segment that they are a top 5 cohesive unit on the defensive side of the ball this year. Let's talk about how good the Dallas Cowboys defense has been in the first couple weeks of football. Week 2, 17 points allowed against the AFC champions in the Cincinnati Bengals. You're talking about an offense that has Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Hayden Hurst at the tight end position. There are offensive juggernauts. They held them to 17 points a game. Let's talk about week 3, when they played on the road against the 3-1 New York Giants, when they only gave up 16 points a game on the road. And then last Sunday, when you played the Washington Commanders, they're not that good of a football team. When you look at that offense has potential to put up a good amount of points and compete in football games. When you have Antonio Gibson at the running back position, you have Terry McLaurin at the wide receiver position, Curtis Samuel at the wide receiver position, Jahan Dotson, rookie from Penn State, at the wide receiver position. This offense has the ability to put up at least more than 10 points per game, and they only put up 10 points last Sunday against this Dallas Cowboys team. And this is the first time since 1973 the Cowboys have allowed 19 points or fewer in their first 4 games. Even dating back to that Sunday night game I just said a few moments ago, where they played Tampa Bay, Tom Brady and company only allowing 19 points per game. So Cooper Rush does deserve credit, but doesn't deserve the credit to be the quarterback one of this team. We're talking about a guy who was undrafted for so long. I just said he's not getting his fair chance to play in the National Football League, But you're talking about if Cooper Rush was really that good, if he was really that standout of a guy, do you think that Dak Prescott would have ever got that amount of money when he got hurt in week 5 playing against New York Giants after suffering from that gruesome ankle injury? Do you think he would have been a $160 million guy if they knew, hey, we got a backup Cooper Rush that's just as good as Dak Prescott? No. Cooper Rush has been there. He's been in the system. He's been a part of Kellen Moore's system since 2019. He should know the playbook better than anybody else. And Dak Prescott has been the guy since. And then you're talking about, I just discussed when 2020, that season when Jason Garrett was fired from the Dallas Cowboys after that season, he went to New York to be the offensive coordinator for the Giants. He could have had the opportunity to be on the roster for the New York Giants. We could be talking about Cooper Rush being the starting quarterback for the New York Giants over Daniel Jones. But he wasn't good enough to be a part of the roster, and he got cut from the practice squad. So Cooper Rush is not as good as you guys really think. I think the world is overhyping him for winning the first 3 games that he's played in this year. 4-0 as a starter, but that's just not going to cut it. And then you're talking about a guy that you're really going to consider rolling with for the rest of the year, and Cooper Rush over Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, who has been flirting with the idea of in the MVP talk since 2019. 2019, he's been flirting with the idea of being an MVP in this league. 2020, his first 5 weeks, he's been flirting with the idea of being the MVP of the National Football League. You even talk about last year, the first 6 weeks of football, the world was saying that Dak Prescott was the best quarterback in the National Football League before he suffered that injury in that win against New England on the road. Dak Prescott last year had 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and we're talking about he's had better stats. That's fewer interceptions than what the world praises Josh Allen being the best guy, one of the best guys at the quarterback position. Justin Herbert, he turned the ball less over than them. These numbers that Dak Prescott had last year, we're talking about numbers of Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. He put up these numbers last year, and the world is starting to say that Dak Prescott should be riding the coattails of Cooper Rush once he comes back healthy. This is not Cooper Rush's team. This is Dak Prescott's team. Let's also talk about how good Dak has been throughout his career with the Dallas Cowboys. He's had 17 game-winning drives. He's 53. He's 53 and 32 as a starter in this league. And a lot of you guys might say that's not pretty flashy for his starting record, having 53 wins and 32 losses. But he's done this running the show with puppets at the head coach, having head coaches that are truly Jerry Jones's absolute puppets out there on the sidelines. Where you talk about Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett was there for a decade, didn't do any wonders for the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott had him as his head coach. At least he won a playoff game with that. He's found a 2.0 replacement of him and Mike McCarthy, who does have a Super Bowl, but has not improved his game since he won that Super Bowl in 2010. And you're looking at it, and he's still doing this despite having all the pressure in the world, being America's quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. He deserves a lot of credit. He's done a lot of great things for truly not having a great head coach throughout his career in Dallas. So there should be no debate who the quarterback one here is when you talk about Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush. There should be no debate. I give it to him. Cooper Rush, you're 4-0 as a starter. You done your job. You played and in my opinion, like I just said, he's played a conservative role like Jimmy Garoppolo does with the San Francisco 49ers. He gets the wins, looks flashy, but on the field, he's not really doing much. He's like that guy in the project that just gets an A+ for participating. Cooper Rush, you're not doing that much for us. I hate to say it, but continue the job that you're doing. But Dak Prescott's a $160 million quarterback for a reason. He was paid $70 million last year for a reason. He's a top 10 quarterback when healthy in this National Football League, in my opinion. And I think moving forward, we play the Los Angeles Rams this Sunday. We're currently 3-1. They're struggling to find their footing of who they truly are as a football team. They're sitting at 2-2. Jerry Jones, I'm going to have to admit this one. Jerry Jones is going to come out and say that Cooper Rush is the quarterback for this team if they come out and beat the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday. That's great, Jerry. That's great to have your $60 million quarterback and be in a quarterback controversy with a guy who was undrafted years ago competing for a starting job. Come on, Jerry. But my opinion, I already know what's going to happen. The status of Dak. How would I bring Dak Prescott back? Obviously, we play a big game. We have a big test on Sunday against the Rams on the road. They're the Super Bowl champions, but they're currently 2-2. I wouldn't rush Dak back into this game. I think I would let Cooper Rush play it out, whether he wins or loses. Week 6, that's a big question mark next week when they play on the road in Philly. I'm going to say, if you can bring Dak back for Philly, bring him back for that game. There's no reason he should play this game against the Los Angeles Rams on the road. Big time environment in Philadelphia. If he can, if he's 75%, 70%, bring him back into the fire, playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. Most likely the winner will be in firm control, first place, and the NFC East moving forward. But time obviously shows that Dak Prescott should not be rushed back. I just talked about it in Week 6 last year when he was the best quarterback. Throughout the first 3 to 6 weeks of football last year, he was the best quarterback in the National Football League. If the season ended at Week 6 last year, I would crown Dak Prescott as the MVP. And a lot of you guys watching and listening might agree with that, might disagree with that, but the stats prove it for himself. He was 5-1, playing absolutely spectacular. That ankle injury slowed him down, though. We had a bye week, and then obviously Cooper Rush got the start in Minnesota last year for that Sunday night game. If Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones played it smart, they should have let Dak Prescott rest for one more week. Playing when they got blown out in that game against the Denver Broncos last year, Dak Prescott took a long time to get his going again. I don't think he was 100% out there, and time will tell what the Dallas Cowboys do. But if it's me, I let Cooper Rush stay in there until Dak Prescott is fully ready to go. But that is how I'm going to end this segment. Again, Dak Prescott should be the quarterback 1 of this franchise, and Cooper Rush should continue to play until Dak Prescott is fully ready.